How's it going, everybody? So I'm back this time with another movie review. This time I'm talking about the latest live-action remake from Disney, Dumbo. By now, I've pretty much gotten used to Disney doing these live-action adaptations of their classic Disney films. I wasn't a big fan of every single one, but I did really like The Jungle Book and even Cinderella, but they don't always hit the mark. I was curious going into this one because I was never like a huge fan of the original Dumbo when I was a child. I always found it really sad. But I was really curious about this new version, and also Tim Burton's directing it. And he's been hit or miss in recent years, but he obviously is a very talented director. So it's kind of an interesting pairing just to see how his version, his interpretation of Dumbo could be. The first thing I do actually have to praise is the costume and set design. I think they did a really great job capturing the feel of this early 1900s circus environment, which I kind of expected going in because that seems kind of like right up Tim Burton's alley, this called wild, zany circus. But it's actually really impressive because, you know, they actually did have to capture the feel of this crazy circus back in that time period because it's set back in the early 1900s. Dumbo, of course, is an absolutely adorable character. You can't help but fall in love with him just from the cute look he has to his nice bubbly personality. They did a great job bringing him into live action. The CGI on him is practically flawless, just like it was with the animals when they did the stuff in the Jungle Book. I mean, Disney has the really phenomenal CGI, which is no surprise that they get some top-notch CGI for Dumbo as well. But I really like Dumbo in this. He's definitely a much more fun character than I expect him to be. You just can't help but to fall in love with Dumbo in this. I mean, he's adorable, and you learn to love him more and more as the movie goes on, especially with the highs and lows of the story. And you feel bad, obviously, when people start heckling him, but he gets the last laugh. The scenes with Dumbo flying are probably my favorite moments. Of course, it is really cool that they recreated the pink elephant parade as well. That scene was also really cool. You see a little bit of it in the trailer, but it's actually just as cool, if not cooler, when you actually see it on the big screen. Definitely commend them for actually recreating that iconic scene and doing a really good job at it as well. The main cast of characters is pretty much all Tim Burton regulars, such as Michael Keaton, Ava Green, Danny DeVito, but our main human protagonist is actually played by Colin Farrell, who was in the circus, left his kids and all that behind to go fight in World War I, comes back, has a missing arm, still trying to adjust to the life in the circus even when he has one arm missing, and he's fine with the material he's given. Unfortunately, he has a very bad Southern style accent that kind of just takes me out of the movie a little bit because it's so distractingly bad. But as far as the material he's given, he's fine. I did think his kids weren't that great, though. His kids, I forget the name of the child actor, the boy child actor, but I know the girl child actor, she was actually the worst of the two. She's ironically enough Thandie Newton from Westworld's daughter. You can kind of tell if you just look at her face, she looks a lot like Thandie Newton. But she's so stone cold faced and just showed almost no emotion, and just her line delivery just really threw me off. But I mean, she'll grow into it. She's young, so she's a young up and coming actress, so she'll find her way, hopefully. But I just really didn't buy her or any of her emotional moments she had with Dumbo or her dad or anything like that. It was just a very lackluster performance, but she's young, so I don't try to rag on kid actors too much. But Michael Keaton, though, he's like the millionaire and, you know, kind of villain bad guy of the movie, and he was just such a stock generic villain that it was just so cringy because he's just, you know, he's a money-hungry, greedy kind of tycoon guy trying to exploit Dumbo. And it's just so stock and generic, and he has this really bad toupee, and it's just so over-the-top, like, generic villain, and it was just so bad. But I like Michael Keaton a lot as an actor. I just think he was not the right choice for this villain role. I did go in expecting them to pad out the runtime a little bit since the original Dumbo was really only like a little over an hour long, but the story they went with in, you know, the pad out the runtime really wasn't overall interesting. It had a couple highs and lows where it kept my interest. The pacing's kind of in the middle, actually. Wasn't the greatest. I did get kind of bored in the middle when not much was going on, but some of this, it just felt like a very safe stock kind of story for the, you know, the circus and the highs and lows. Like I said, generic businessman, villain kind of guy. It's like pretty much stuff you've seen before in typical Disney fashion. Wasn't anything bad, though. It just felt very safe. Wish they would have like went out of the box a little bit with the story, maybe kept things a little bit more fresh. But I mean, you know, there's no point in, I guess, trying to do that if it's going to be cookie cutter. Overall, though, I thought Dumbo was a fine Disney adaptation. There's definitely some good to be had in it. You're going to have some entertainment. I wish the story wasn't as safe as it was, but it's going to find its audience. There are definitely going to be people that really had a fun time with this. Definitely one of the better Disney live-action remakes. Definitely not the best one though, because there are a couple more I did like more. But it's a fine Disney live action remake. You're gonna like it, even if you haven't seen the first one. You don't really have to see it because they are so drastically different in pretty much every way, except for some of the circus scenes. So it's kind of hard to compare them and call them a remake, even though they kind of didn't use too much of the actual film. But overall, I had a fun time. Let me know in the comment section down below, what'd you think of Dumbo? Did you like it? Did you like this version more than the original version? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's get a discussion going about the film. But thank you so much for checking out my video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with our movie reviews, trailer reactions, unboxings, and more. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.